They thought the cameras were off. They thought the room was safe. And they definitely thought no one would ever hear what was said next. But now, everything is out. Tonight, fans are shocked as leaked footage allegedly shows reality TV socialite Erika Kirk in a moment no one was ever meant to see. A moment that has ignited outrage, disbelief, and a firestorm across social media. In the grainy clip circulating online, laughter turns sharp, sarcasm turns cruel, and what many viewers are calling outright mockery sends shockwaves through her fanbase. Was it a joke taken too far, or something much deeper? Whispers are spreading fast. Former friends are suddenly distancing themselves. Family members are reportedly blindsided. And longtime supporters are asking a question no one ever expected to ask. Who is Erika Kirk really? Behind the glam, the confessionals, and the carefully curated image, insiders claim there's a hidden belief system Erika never wanted exposed. One that clashes violently with the faith she once claimed to respect. As the footage cuts in and out, a voice is heard scoffing, rolling eyes, making remarks that many viewers say cross a line that can't be uncrossed. Emotions ran high the moment the clip leaked. Comment sections exploded. Fans demanded answers. Critics demanded accountability. And those closest to Erika? They went silent. But that silence didn't last long. Because as more details emerge, sources claim this leak is only the beginning. Old arguments are resurfacing. Betrayals are being re-examined. And a private family conflict, buried for years, is now threatening to rip everything apart. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear isn't just about one leaked video. It's about secrets, belief, and a reality star whose carefully built image may be crumbling in real time. The room felt heavier the moment the leaked footage stopped playing, like the air itself didn't know where to go next. Inside Erika Kirk's inner circle, panic spread faster than explanations. Phones buzzed non-stop, assistants whispered behind closed doors, and Erika herself sat frozen on a velvet couch, staring at the screen as if it had betrayed her. The laughter heard in the clip, the sarcastic tone, the moment where she rolled her eyes and muttered something that many interpreted as mocking Jesus, it wasn't supposed to exist outside that room. It was supposed to disappear forever. Who recorded that? Erika snapped, her voice trembling between rage and fear. I said explain, now. No one answered her right away. Emotions ran high, and the silence was louder than any accusation. Finally, Marcus, a longtime friend who had been with her since before the cameras, spoke carefully. It doesn't matter who recorded it anymore. Fans are shocked. The clip is everywhere. Erika stood up abruptly, knocking over a crystal glass. They don't understand context, she said, pacing. They never do. But context was already being rewritten online. Reaction videos popped up by the minute. Comments poured in calling her fake, cruel, even evil. People who once defended her were now questioning everything they thought they knew. The narrative was shifting, and Erika could feel it slipping out of her control. Across town, her older sister Lydia watched the footage alone in her kitchen, tears forming in her eyes. Lydia had always been the quiet one, the deeply religious one, the sibling Erika used to tease for being too serious about faith. When her phone rang, she ignored it. She already knew it was Erika. I can't defend this, Lydia whispered to herself. Not this. Hours later, Erika finally confronted her family group chat. Messages stacked up unanswered. Then one came through from her mother. What were you thinking? That single line hit harder than any headline. Meanwhile, former castmates began leaking their own stories. One claimed Erika had mocked prayer during filming breaks. Another said she once laughed through a church service, like it was a joke. Whether true or exaggerated, fans ate it up. The family was left divided as old memories were suddenly reframed as warning signs no one wanted to see before. In a dimly lit restaurant, Erika met with her publicist, Claire, who didn't bother sugarcoating the situation. This isn't just a scandal, Claire said, sliding her phone across the table. They're saying your real religion has been exposed. Erika scoffed. I don't even talk about religion. That's the problem, Claire replied. Silence is being filled in for you. As they spoke, a former friend named Jason went live on social media. I stayed quiet for years, he said, eyes intense. But what you saw in that clip, that's the real Erika. Off camera, she laughed at faith, at believers, at everything she thought was weak. The betrayal stung more than the backlash. Erika slammed her phone down when she saw the live clip. He's lying, she muttered. He wants attention. But attention was already flooding in. Fans demanded apologies. Sponsors quietly paused contracts. One brand issued a statement saying they were reevaluating their values. Erika's empire, built on image and attitude, began to crack. Late that night, Erika finally called Lydia again. This time, her sister answered. Tell me it's not true, Lydia said, voice shaking. Tell me you don't feel that way. Erika hesitated. That pause was everything. I was joking, she said finally. It wasn't serious. Faith isn't a joke, Lydia replied. And if you don't believe, that's one thing. But mocking? That's something else. The line went dead. Alone in her penthouse, Erika scrolled through endless comments. Some still defended her. Others called for her cancellation. Fans were shocked not just by the footage, but by how quiet she had become. The confident star who always clapped back was suddenly silent. And then, just before sunrise, a new clip surfaced. Shorter, clearer, and somehow worse. Erika's voice, unmistakable, laughing as she said something that reignited the fire all over again. The storm wasn't dying down. It was only beginning. By mid-morning the internet felt like it was vibrating, every refresh bringing another reaction, another theory, another clip stitched together by strangers who suddenly believed they knew Erika Kirk better than she knew herself. Talk shows teased the story without naming it outright, bloggers used dramatic thumbnails, and fans were shocked by how fast admiration had turned into suspicion. Erika watched it all unfold from behind dark sunglasses, sitting in the backseat of her car as it crawled through traffic, her phone lighting up with messages she didn't open. "You need to say something," Claire said firmly, sitting beside her. "Silence is being read as guilt. If I speak, I make it worse," Erika replied. "They've already decided who I am." But that wasn't entirely true. Some fans still waited, hoping for an explanation that would make it all make sense. Others, however, had already begun digging into her past, resurfacing old interviews, old jokes, old moments that once seemed harmless. Now, everything looked sinister through a new lens. One clip in particular began circulating, an interview from years ago where Erika laughed when asked about spirituality and said, "I don't do rules." At the time, fans praised her honesty. Now, comments flooded in accusing her of hiding her real beliefs all along. Accusations stacked on accusations until the truth barely mattered anymore. Inside a modest house across the city, Erika's father sat in silence, the TV glowing in front of him. He hadn't spoken to Erika in months, not since their last argument about her lifestyle, her choices, the way fame had changed her. Watching the headlines scroll by, he shook his head slowly. "This didn't have to happen," he muttered. "She always pushed too far." When a reporter knocked on his door later that afternoon, he refused to comment. But his silence was interpreted as confirmation. Emotions ran high as speculation turned into assumed fact. Back at Erika's penthouse, Marcus confronted her, frustration finally boiling over. "You can't keep pretending this is just bad press," he said. "People feel hurt." "I didn't hurt anyone," Erika shot back. "They chose to be offended." "That's not how it works," Marcus replied. "Faith isn't just an opinion to some people. It's personal." Their argument escalated, voices echoing off the marble walls. Years of loyalty cracked under the weight of one leaked moment. "Maybe this is who you've always been," Marcus said quietly. "And we just didn't want to see it." That hurt more than any headline. As night fell, a former producer from her reality show anonymously released a statement claiming Erika had once refused to film inside a church because it made her uncomfortable. The word uncomfortable was quickly replaced by cruel in reposts. Betrayal layered on betrayal until Erika felt surrounded by ghosts of conversations she never imagined would matter. Her phone rang again. This time it was Lydia. "I'm not calling to fight," Lydia said softly. "I just need to understand." Erika closed her eyes. "Understand what?" "Why it sounds like you hate what I love," Lydia replied. "Why it sounds like you think belief makes people stupid." There was a long pause. Erika's voice dropped. "I don't hate you. I hate being judged." "Then why mock?" Lydia asked. "Why laugh?" Erika didn't have an answer. The truth was messy, tangled in resentment, rebellion, and years of feeling controlled by expectations she never agreed to. But none of that translated well online. By the next morning, sponsors made their decisions public. One by one, partnerships were paused. A major event quietly removed her name from the guest list. Fans were shocked at how fast doors closed. The family was left divided not just emotionally, but publicly, as relatives were dragged into comment sections against their will. Then came the twist no one expected. A private audio recording surfaced, allegedly from years earlier, where Erika spoke about religion with bitterness, claiming it was used to control people. Some listeners sympathized, others felt confirmed in their anger. The line between criticism and mockery blurred until outrage took over. Erika listened to the audio alone, her own younger voice sounding distant, harsher than she remembered. "I was angry then," she whispered. "I didn't mean it like that." But meaning no longer mattered. Perception ruled everything. Late that night, Claire returned with grim news. "There's talk of more leaks," she said. "Texts, videos, people are digging." Erika laughed bitterly. "Let them. I'm already the villain." "You don't have to be," Claire replied. "But you have to choose who you are going to be now." Outside, fans gathered, some holding signs of support, others signs of condemnation. Chants mixed with prayers. The irony wasn't lost on Erika as she watched from above, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. Inside that moment, she realized something had shifted forever. This wasn't just about a clip or a comment. It was about identity, belief, and the cost of being unfiltered in a world that never forgets. And just as she thought the storm couldn't grow louder, her phone buzzed with one final notification. Another insider was scheduled to go live at dawn, promising to reveal the truth Erika Kirk never wanted exposed. Erika set the phone down slowly, heart pounding, knowing whatever came next would change everything again. Dawn broke quietly, almost disrespectfully calm compared to the chaos waiting online. Erika hadn't slept. She sat wrapped in a robe, eyes fixed on her phone as the countdown to the promised live stream ticked closer. When the notification finally appeared, her stomach dropped. It was Jason again, but this time he wasn't alone. Beside him sat a woman Erika hadn't seen in years, her former spiritual advisor, someone she once trusted and later cut off without explanation. I didn't want to do this, the woman began, voice shaking, but what I saw hurt too many people to stay silent. Fans flooded the live chat. Emotions ran high as comments flew faster than anyone could read. Erika watched, frozen, as her past was narrated by someone else. The woman claimed Erika once mocked a prayer circle, laughing afterward and calling it performative nonsense. Jason nodded along, adding his own commentary, framing every memory as proof of a hidden disdain. The words "real religion exposed" flashed across the screen as viewers shared the stream. "This is character assassination," Claire said over the phone, her voice tight. "But it's landing." Halfway through the live, something unexpected happened. Lydia joined the stream. The chat exploded. "I'm not here to attack my sister," Lydia said, holding back tears. "I'm here because silence is making things worse." She spoke about their childhood, about a home where faith was strict, sometimes harsh, sometimes weaponized. Erika didn't wake up one day wanting to mock Jesus, she said. She woke up angry and hurt. That admission split the audience. Some softened, others accused Lydia of making excuses. The family was left divided in real time, their private history dissected by strangers. Erika broke down watching her sister defend her while still holding her accountable. For the first time since the leak, she cried openly. But the internet never waits for healing. A tabloid dropped an article minutes later, claiming Erika followed a dark alternative belief system. Screenshots of her liking vague philosophical posts were framed as evidence. Fans were shocked by how quickly curiosity turned into conspiracy. Erika finally snapped. She went live. No filters, no glam, just her. "You don't know me," she said, voice shaking but steady enough to carry. "You know clips. You know edits. You know stories told by people who hate me." She addressed the leaked footage head-on. "I was wrong to laugh. I was wrong to speak carelessly. But mocking belief is not the same as hating it. And questioning faith does not make me evil." The response was immediate and brutal. Some praised her honesty. Others called it too little, too late. Sponsors stayed silent. Critics doubled down. Then came the final twist. A private text exchange leaked between Erika and her mother, sent years earlier, where Erika wrote, "If God is real, he made me angry on purpose." The line went viral, stripped of context, framed as blasphemy. Emotions ran high all over again. Erika's mother released a brief statement saying, "My daughter and I are healing privately." But the damage was done. Days passed. The frenzy slowed but didn't disappear. Erika retreated from public view. Marcus moved out. Claire took a step back. Fame, once loud and constant, became eerily quiet. Alone, Erika revisited old journals, pages filled with questions about belief, control, freedom. She realized the truth no headline could capture: she wasn't mocking faith. She was fighting it, fighting what it had done to her, what it had taken, what it had promised and never delivered. But the internet doesn't care about nuance. Weeks later, a teaser appeared for an exclusive interview. No accusations, no leaks, just Erika, promising to tell her story fully for the first time. Fans were shocked by the announcement. Critics rolled their eyes. Everyone watched. Because whether they loved her or hated her, one thing was undeniable. Erika Kirk was no longer just a reality star caught in a scandal. She was a symbol, and the conversation she ignited wasn't ending anytime soon. The interview day arrived wrapped in tension, the kind that makes even the quietest room feel loud. Erika sat across from the interviewer, hands clasped tightly, jaw set as if bracing for impact. Cameras rolled, lights warmed, and somewhere outside the studio, fans and critics waited, already decided on what they wanted to hear. The interviewer didn't ease in. There was no soft opening, no gentle framing. The first question cut straight through her. "Do you regret what you said in the leaked footage?" Erika exhaled slowly. "I regret that people heard it without knowing me," she said. "And I regret that my words caused pain. But I won't pretend I'm someone I'm not." That answer alone split the audience. Some heard accountability. Others heard defiance. Emotions ran high as clips from the interview spread in real time, dissected second by second. The interviewer pressed harder. "People say you mocked Jesus. Do you deny that?" Erika's eyes flickered. "I mocked the performance of faith, not the belief itself. But I understand why it sounded the same." Back home, Lydia watched, heart pounding. She texted Erika mid-interview, something she hadn't done in weeks. "Be careful. This world doesn't forgive easily." Online, fans were shocked by how calm Erika appeared. They expected tears or rage. Instead, they saw something colder, sharper, almost resolved. Some admired it, others found it unsettling. Then the interviewer dropped the bomb. "Are you religious?" Erika paused longer this time. "No," she said, "but I am not what people are calling me." That single word "no" became the headline. Blogs twisted it, commentators shouted over one another. Accusations returned with fresh energy. The family was left divided again, this time by interpretation. Some relatives praised her honesty. Others felt betrayed by it. After the interview aired, Erika retreated once more. The exclusive didn't end the storm. It reshaped it. Fans demanded clarity she couldn't give in soundbites. Critics demanded repentance she didn't believe in. A week later, another unexpected voice entered the narrative. A former high school friend wrote a long post recalling Erika as a teenager, questioning everything, challenging authority, never satisfied with easy answers. "This isn't new," the post read. "She's always fought belief systems that tried to own her." That post went viral too, reigniting debate. Was Erika cruel, or just honest? Mocking, or misunderstood? Sponsors remained cautious. Some quietly returned. Others cut ties permanently. Erika's financial empire stabilized but never fully recovered. Fame, once effortless, now required explanation. Behind closed doors, the real cost revealed itself. Erika and Lydia met in person for the first time since the leak. No cameras, no audience, just two sisters sitting across from each other. "I didn't defend everything you said," Lydia told her. "But I defended you." Erika nodded. "That mattered. Faith is still important to me," Lydia added. "And what you said hurt. But I know where it came from." That was the closest thing to peace either of them expected. Months later, the internet moved on to a new scandal, a new villain. But Erika's name still triggered arguments. Her story became a reference point, a cautionary tale, a rallying cry depending on who told it. She returned to social media quietly. No captions, no explanations, just presence. Fans were shocked when she posted a simple photo of a sunrise with no words attached. Comments flooded in anyway, projecting meaning where none was offered. In private, Erika began working on a project of her own. Not a reality show, not a brand deal, a long-form story, told on her terms. Some called it redemption, others called it manipulation. She didn't comment. The leaked footage never disappeared. It lived on in compilations, reaction videos, think pieces. But it no longer defined every conversation. Time, relentless and indifferent, softened the edges. Still, unresolved questions lingered. Did Erika cross a line that shouldn't be crossed? Did the internet punish honesty more than harm? Was belief something to be protected from critique or strengthened by it? Fans continue to argue. Families continue to disagree. Emotions still run high whenever her name resurfaces. And somewhere between mockery and belief, between exposure and misunderstanding, Erika Kirk remains exactly where controversy lives best. Unresolved. The weeks that followed felt strangely hollow, like the echo after a scream. Erika woke up each morning expecting another explosion, another leak, another headline tearing her apart, but instead there was a slow, creeping quiet. The kind that unsettles you more than noise ever could. Fans were still talking, critics still posting, but the frenzy had lost its sharp edge. And yet, the damage lingered everywhere she looked. She walked into a small cafe one afternoon wearing a cap pulled low, something she never used to do. Two people at a nearby table recognized her immediately. One whispered, the other stared, neither smiled. Erika ordered her coffee and stood there, suddenly hyper-aware of her own breathing. This was the new normal. Not screams, not praise. Judgment and silence. At home, unread letters piled up. Some were supportive, filled with prayers she didn't know how to respond to. Others were angry, accusing her of mocking Jesus, of corrupting culture, of being everything wrong with fame. Emotions ran high even on paper. She stopped opening them after the first dozen. Claire eventually returned, cautiously, like someone approaching a wild animal they once trained. "I'm not here as your publicist today," she said, sitting across from Erika at the kitchen table. "I'm here as someone who's watched you burn bridges without realizing what you were lighting." Erika didn't argue. "I never wanted this fight." "But you walked straight into it," Claire replied. "And the thing is, people don't just feel offended. They feel mocked, humiliated, like their faith was laughed at." Erika's jaw tightened. "Because I laughed once. Because it confirmed something they already feared," Claire said. "That people like you look down on them." That stung. Erika had spent her life refusing to be looked down on. Now she was accused of doing exactly that. Online, a new wave of commentary emerged. Not rage this time, but analysis. Long threads dissecting her words, her tone, her upbringing. Armchair psychologists diagnosing her anger. Theologians debating whether criticism crossed into blasphemy. Fans were shocked at how academic her scandal had become, like a case study in belief and celebrity. One night, unable to sleep, Erika scrolled through a forum she'd been warned to avoid. Someone had written, "Maybe she doesn't hate Jesus. Maybe she hates what people did in his name." Thousands of replies followed. Some agreed, others tore that idea apart. The family was left divided even in comment sections where strangers argued on their behalf. Her father finally called. They hadn't spoken since before the leak. "I watched the interview," he said, voice rough. "You sound like me when I was younger." Erika closed her eyes. "Is that supposed to make me feel better?" "No," he replied. "It's supposed to warn you." He talked about his own rebellion, his anger at faith, how he swung too far in the opposite direction just to prove he could. "You're not wrong to question," he said. "But mockery makes people stop listening." After they hung up, Erika sat in the dark for a long time, replaying his words. Maybe that was the cruelest irony of all. She wanted to be understood, but her delivery guaranteed the opposite. Months passed. Her name still trended occasionally, usually when someone revived the footage or used her as an example in a larger argument. But she stopped reacting. No statements, no clarifications, just distance. Then, unexpectedly, a former fan wrote her a private message that cut through everything else. "I was angry at you," it read. "But your story made me question why I get so defensive. I realized I was afraid my faith couldn't survive criticism." Erika read it twice, then a third time. It was the first message that didn't ask her to apologize or repent or disappear. It asked her to exist honestly. She began writing again, not for an audience but for herself. Pages filled with memories of church pews and whispered doubts, of laughter used as armor, of anger that never found the right target. She didn't soften the ugly parts. She didn't excuse herself either. It was messy, human. Rumors spread that she was planning a book, then a podcast, then a documentary. None were confirmed. The mystery itself became fuel for speculation. Fans were shocked by how interest returned the moment she went quiet. When she finally spoke publicly again, it wasn't on a stage or a screen. It was at a small, closed event about free expression. No cameras allowed, no clips leaked. Those who attended described her words as calm, careful, almost restrained. "I learned the hard way," she said. According to one attendee, that tone can erase intent. That line circulated anyway. Some praised her growth, others accused her of rebranding. The cycle threatened to start again, but Erika refused to feed it. She declined interviews, ignored bait, chose obscurity over control, and slowly, something unexpected happened. The anger aimed at her cooled. Not because everyone forgave her, but because outrage needs participation. Without reaction, it starves. Still, the question followed her everywhere. Did she cross a line that shouldn't be crossed? Erika didn't answer it anymore. She let others argue while she lived with the consequences. In quiet moments, she thought about that leaked footage, that careless laugh, that instant where everything changed. She didn't wish it away. It forced her to confront parts of herself she'd hidden behind sarcasm and confidence. Some scars never fade, some reputations never fully recover. But neither does awareness. Erika Kirk remained controversial, complicated, unresolved. A name that still sparked debate. A story still cited, not because she mocked belief, but because she collided with it, publicly, messily, and couldn't pretend otherwise ever again. Time kept moving even when Erika felt stuck in the same emotional hour. Seasons changed outside her windows, but inside, the conversations replayed endlessly. Every laugh she'd ever used to deflect, every eye roll, every sarcastic comment now felt heavier in hindsight. Not because she suddenly believed differently, but because she finally understood how power worked when amplified by fame. A year after the leak, a documentary premiered about online outrage culture. Erika wasn't the subject, but she was mentioned. Her clip appeared briefly, blurred but recognizable. The narrator spoke about how mockery, even unintended, becomes a symbol once the internet decides it does. Fans were shocked all over again, not by the footage, but by how familiar the cycle felt. Erika watched the documentary alone. When it ended, she didn't feel vindicated. She felt tired. She'd lost friends who couldn't survive the pressure of association. She'd gained strangers who projected their own battles onto her. The family was left divided in quieter ways now, less explosive but more permanent. Some relationships healed partially. Others remained polite and distant, like scars that only ache in certain weather. One afternoon, Lydia visited unexpectedly. No warning, no agenda, just coffee and silence. "People still ask me about you at church," Lydia said eventually. "They want to know if you're changed." Erika smiled faintly. "Changed how?" "Softer," Lydia replied. "Repentant, ashamed." Erika shook her head. "I'm more careful, not softer." Lydia nodded. That might be harder for them to accept. They talked for hours, not about religion, but about childhood, about fear, about how easily love becomes conditional when belief enters the room. It wasn't resolution, but it was real. Online, a new generation discovered the scandal with no memory of the initial outrage. To them, it was history, context for debates about cancel culture and free speech. Erika became a case study, not a headline. Emotions ran high in classrooms and podcasts where her name was mentioned, but she wasn't tagged anymore. She wasn't summoned. She preferred it that way. In private, she finally finished her manuscript. Not a memoir, not an apology tour, a collection of essays about doubt, anger, humor, and the dangerous comfort of mockery. Publishers were interested, lawyers were cautious, friends were split on whether releasing it was brave or reckless. Erika hesitated for months. The fear wasn't backlash anymore. It was being misunderstood again. One night, scrolling aimlessly, she came across a clip of a preacher responding to a question about offense. "If your faith shatters when questioned," he said, "it wasn't faith. It was fear." Erika didn't agree with everything he said, but that line stayed with her. She decided to publish. The book didn't explode. It didn't flop either. It existed. Reviews were mixed. Some accused her of intellectualizing cruelty. Others praised her honesty. Fans were shocked by how quiet the release felt compared to the scandal that inspired it. Erika did no press tour. She let the work speak, and when it was misread, she let that happen too. Years later, a young influencer was caught in a similar controversy, accused of mocking belief in a leaked clip. Commentators compared the two cases. Erika's name trended briefly, then faded. This time, she didn't watch. She didn't comment. She didn't relive it. She'd learned something the hard way. Not every misunderstanding can be corrected. Not every wound needs a public bandage. Sometimes the loudest growth happens in silence. Erika Kirk never fully escaped the shadow of that moment. But she stopped running from it. She carried it differently, with awareness instead of defensiveness. And for those still arguing online, still outraged, still convinced they knew her heart from a few seconds of footage, Erika had nothing left to prove. The internet moved on. She moved forward. And the story, controversial and unresolved, finally belonged to her. The quiet that followed was not empty, it was dense, layered with everything that had been said and everything that never would be. Erika learned to live inside that density. She stopped flinching when her name appeared in conversations she overheard, stopped bracing for impact every time her phone buzzed. The world had not forgiven her, but it had adjusted to her existence, and strangely, that felt like freedom. She moved apartments, downsized, chose a neighborhood where no one cared who she used to be. The doorman didn't recognize her. The barista didn't hesitate when asking her name. Anonymity, once terrifying, became comforting. She could laugh without wondering how it would sound edited. She could be silent without it being called strategy. Yet the past never disappeared completely. It resurfaced in unexpected ways. A stranger at a dinner party once leaned across the table and asked casually, "Weren't you the one who mocked Jesus on that video?" The room went still. Erika didn't defend herself. She didn't explain. She just said, "I was someone who learned a lesson very publicly." The conversation moved on, awkward but intact. That answer surprised even her. She began mentoring young creators privately, people just entering the spotlight, warning them not about cancel culture, but about carelessness. Every joke has an audience you didn't imagine, she told them. And some audiences are carrying wounds you can't see. Some listened. Some rolled their eyes the way she once did. News cycles came and went. Scandals bigger and uglier than hers took over feeds. The outrage machine never slept. Sometimes Erika wondered what would have happened if her leak had occurred later, when attention spans were shorter, empathy thinner. Maybe she would have been consumed entirely. Maybe she would have disappeared. Instead, she existed in the in-between. One evening, years after the initial fallout, Erika attended a small panel discussion on humor and offense. She wasn't announced. She wasn't highlighted. She was just another attendee. During the Q&A, someone asked whether anything should be off-limits in comedy. The panel debated philosophy and history, abstraction and theory. Erika raised her hand. Intent matters, she said when given the mic. But impact matters more. And once impact happens, intent becomes a footnote. No one recognized her. They just nodded. Afterward, a woman approached her. "That was well said," she remarked. "You sound like someone who's been through it." Erika smiled. "I have." The irony made her laugh softly. At home later that night, she rewatched the original leaked footage for the first time in years. Not out of punishment but curiosity. It looked smaller now, grainy, almost sad. She didn't recognize the person laughing on the screen, not because she denied it was her, but because she had outgrown that version. She turned it off without ceremony. The internet still archived everything. Reaction videos still existed, threads still argued, but they felt distant, like echoes in a canyon she'd already crossed. One day, Lydia sent her a message. Simple, unprompted. "I told someone today that my sister is complicated and trying. They said that was enough." Erika stared at the screen for a long time. Maybe that was the real resolution. Not redemption, not agreement, but allowance. Space for complexity without performance. She never returned to reality television. Offers came. She declined, not out of fear, but disinterest. She preferred conversations that didn't require spectacle. She preferred being wrong in private, learning without an audience. Sometimes, late at night, she thought about faith again. Not belief, not doctrine, but faith in the idea that people could be more than their worst moment. She didn't label it. She didn't mock it either. She just sat with it, unresolved. And maybe that was the point. Erika Kirk remained a name some people whispered with anger, others with curiosity. A cautionary tale, a provocation, a mirror, depending on who was looking. She accepted all of it. Because the loudest part of her story was never the mockery, never the footage, never the exposure. It was the long, quiet aftermath. And that part, finally, belonged only to her. Years blurred together until time stopped feeling like an enemy and started feeling like proof of survival. Erika no longer measured her life in scandals or recoveries, but in quieter milestones. The first year she went unrecognized in public. The first holiday spent without dread. The first time she laughed freely and didn't immediately analyze the sound of it. Yet every so often, the past found her. A university invited her to speak privately to a small media ethics class. No press, no recordings. She almost declined. Then she remembered how badly she wished someone had warned her before fame calcified her every flaw. She told them the story without drama. No names, no victim language, just facts and feelings. "The internet doesn't just react," she said. "It completes the story for you. And once it does, you're negotiating with a version of yourself that isn't fully yours anymore." A student asked, "Do you think you deserved what happened?" Erika paused. I deserved consequences, not caricature. The room stayed quiet after that. Outside, life kept testing her restraint. A late-night host made a joke referencing celebrities who mocked religion and paid the price. Her name trended for half an hour. Old clips resurfaced. Familiar phrases reappeared. Fans were shocked how fast the reflex returned. Erika didn't respond. That restraint wasn't weakness. It was choice. She learned that responding often fed the wrong hunger. Outrage wasn't looking for clarity. It was looking for confirmation. One afternoon, she received a letter from someone who had once publicly condemned her. The handwriting was shaky, the tone hesitant. I wanted to tell you I was wrong to reduce you to one moment, it read. I still believe what I believe. But I believe now that cruelty hides behind certainty. Erika folded the letter carefully and placed it in a drawer she kept for things that mattered quietly. She began hosting small, off-the-record dinners. Artists, writers, people with conflicting worldviews. The only rule was curiosity without conversion. No one tried to win. No one tried to cancel. They listened. They disagreed. Sometimes they left unsettled, sometimes relieved. One guest once said, "This feels like church without doctrine." Erika laughed softly. Or therapy without invoices. That laugh didn't feel defensive. It felt earned. The question of religion never left her life completely. It hovered like an unresolved chord. Sometimes she read sacred texts the way others read poetry, searching not for answers but for insight into why people clung to them so fiercely. Other times she avoided the topic entirely, exhausted by its weight. She learned to separate belief from believers, faith from performance, mockery from critique. Lines she once blurred casually now demanded care. Not because she feared backlash, because she understood impact. A documentary filmmaker approached her about telling her story again, framing it as a meditation on free speech and accountability. Erika listened, thoughtful, then declined. I don't need my pain to teach strangers anymore, she said. I've paid that tuition. Some accused her of hiding. Others said she'd matured. She accepted both interpretations as the cost of existing publicly, even in partial retreat. When she ran into Jason years later at an airport lounge, the moment felt surreal. They exchanged stiff pleasantries. Neither apologized, neither accused. Time had sanded down the sharpest edges, but not the memory. I didn't think it would go that far, he said finally. I know, Erika replied. And I still had to live with it. They parted without closure. Strangely, that felt honest. Late one night, unable to sleep, Erika wrote a single sentence in her journal. I am not the worst thing I've done, and neither are they. She didn't post it. She didn't need to. Years later, when a new scandal erupted involving another public figure accused of mocking belief, Erika's name appeared again in think pieces as a comparison point. Some called her a warning. Others called her proof that growth was possible. She read none of it. She was busy living a life that no longer needed commentary. Sometimes she imagined who she would have been if that footage had never leaked. Would she have grown anyway? Would empathy have found her without force? She never answered those questions. Speculation didn't change reality. What changed her was consequence, reflection, and time. The world never agreed on her story. It remained contested, fragmented, emotionally charged. But Erika stopped needing consensus to move forward. The last time she was asked in an interview, years after everything, whether she believed in God, she answered carefully. I believe in responsibility, she said. And in listening longer than feels comfortable. That answer didn't trend, and she was grateful for that. Because the real transformation of Erika Kirk was never going to fit in a headline, never going to satisfy people hungry for villains or saints. It lived in nuance, in restraint, in the choice to never again let mockery do the talking for her. And that, finally, was enough. The longer Erika lived outside the spotlight, the more she understood how addictive visibility had been. Not fame itself, but reaction. The instant feedback, the illusion that being seen meant being known. Without it, she had to confront who she was when no one was watching, and that process was slower, quieter, and far less flattering. She volunteered anonymously at a local arts nonprofit, helping young people write scripts and essays. None of them knew her history. To them, she was just someone who listened closely and asked hard questions. When a teenager once read a monologue mocking belief systems purely for shock value, Erika didn't scold. She asked, "What are you trying to protect with that joke?" The kid shrugged, confused. Erika smiled gently. "You'll figure it out." That question echoed in her own mind often. What had she been protecting? Fear of control, fear of being small, fear of being trapped inside someone else's certainty. Laughter had been her shield, sarcasm her sword. But shields crack and swords cut both ways. Occasionally, the past came back with teeth. An old clip would resurface in a compilation. A commentator would recycle her name for clicks. Fans were shocked anew, as if the story had just happened. Each time, Erika felt the familiar tightening in her chest, the instinct to explain, to clarify, to correct. And each time, she let it pass. She had learned that not every misunderstanding was hers to fix. One afternoon, while walking through a park, she overheard two strangers arguing about faith. One accused the other of being naive. The other accused the first of being arrogant. The words escalated quickly. Erika paused, listening, recognizing the pattern. Neither was listening. Both were defending identities, not ideas. She kept walking. That was growth too. On the anniversary of the leak, Erika did something unexpected. She turned off her phone and drove alone to the coast. No posts, no reflections shared, just waves and wind and the kind of silence that doesn't demand interpretation. She sat on the sand and let the moment pass without meaning. For the first time, the date didn't feel loaded. Back home, she found a message from Lydia waiting. Proud of you. No explanation, no conditions. Erika felt something loosen inside her. Their relationship had changed permanently, but it had also deepened. They no longer tried to convert each other. They talked about values instead. Kindness, curiosity, humility. When they disagreed, they named it without cruelty. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. In a strange twist, Erika was later invited to consult quietly on a media project about belief and representation. Not as a subject, but as a voice of caution. She reviewed scripts, flagged moments where humor tipped into mockery without purpose. She didn't demand removal. She asked questions. What's the intent here? Who is the butt of the joke? Who gets hurt? Who gets heard? The producers listened. That mattered more than credit. Years after everything, Erika attended a small gathering where someone inevitably brought up her past. The room waited, curious, awkward. Erika took a breath. I learned something painful, she said. That I don't get to decide how my words land. Only whether I care when they do. No one argued. That was new. The world never issued a final verdict on Erika Kirk. Some people always saw her as the woman in the clip. Others saw a symbol of free speech gone wrong. A few saw someone who stumbled publicly and chose not to calcify around her worst moment. Erika stopped trying to manage those narratives. She understood now that belief, like identity, is fragile when threatened and dangerous when unquestioned. She respected that line in a way she never had before. Not out of fear, out of responsibility. Sometimes she still laughed at things she probably shouldn't. Sometimes she still rolled her eyes. Growth didn't make her saintly. It made her aware. And awareness changed everything. When asked once, quietly, what she believed now, Erika answered without performance. I believe words matter, she said. And so does who we aim them at. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't a confession. It was a boundary. The storm that once defined her had long passed, leaving behind debris and scars and lessons that never fit neatly into a redemption arc. But Erika no longer needed one. She had learned how to live without mockery doing the emotional labor for her. And that was the most honest belief she had ever held. And now it's your turn. You've heard the story. You've seen how one leaked moment turned into a cultural firestorm, how laughter became a headline, and how a single clip changed everything. But the biggest question is still hanging in the air, unanswered. Was this a case of mockery that crossed an unforgivable line, or was it a woman being torn apart for questioning belief in a world that demands certainty? Do you think Erika Kirk deserved the backlash she faced, or did the internet take it too far once again? Fans are shocked, families remain divided, and emotions still run high every time this story resurfaces. And that's why your voice matters here. Scroll down and tell us what you think. Do public figures owe belief respect at all costs? Or should honest doubt always have space, even when it makes people uncomfortable? Was this accountability, or was it outrage without mercy? If you found this story gripping, unsettling, or thought-provoking, don't forget to like this video. It helps more than you know. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the drama everyone's afraid to talk about. And most importantly, comment below and join the conversation, because this story isn't finished, and neither is the debate around it. Stay curious, stay critical, and remember, sometimes the loudest scandals leave behind the quietest questions. We'll see you in the next one.